I've been on the Sheriff's Department for about 16 years. I was born in Beirut, Lebanon. I came here when I was 2 years old, 1977. I'm not too old yet. I'm getting there. You know, as a child and coming from a foreign country, as a lot of you, I'm sure, came from foreign countries, it never was in my mind to be a police officer. And you understand why, I'm sure, those of you coming from foreign countries. The police are looked down upon. Sometimes they're corrupt. Often there's a lot of abuse. But it was always in my heart to do law enforcement. But I never thought it would be a reality till later on in life. My parents were against it. They did not support me. I knew I had to do what I wanted to do. So here I am, 16 years later, and my parents are more proud of me than ever. They support me, and they see law enforcement in America on a whole different perspective. As a deputy sheriff, I held various assignments. I worked the jails. I worked the streets. I also worked background investigations, which basically screens the applicants coming in to work for the Sheriff's Department. I was eventually approached, because I am Muslim, I do speak Arabic. I was approached to work a unit under Homeland Security. I was curious as to what this unit was and what we did. However, to get yourself out of the street, out of the radio car for a while, you typically go to any unit of assignment that wants you to go. So, in the Homeland Security Unit Division, we have a unit called the Muslim Community Affairs Unit. It consists of deputies. They don't have to be Muslim, but it just so happens we had enough deputies on the department to basically start this unit. It was originally started by Sergeant Mike Abdeen. I'm sure many of you here know him. He started this whole program. He sends his hellos from Jerusalem. He's in Jerusalem now. After September 11th, you know, the Muslim community was scrutinized. There was a lot of questions, a lot going on. There was a lot of intelligence failures with the federal government, FBI, putting informants in the mosque, trying to listen to everyone's kind of jihad language to rise up and fight against America. But it did not exist. As a matter of fact, many of these informants were kicked out of the mosque before they knew they were FBI informants. They even put restraining orders on some of these informants. It was later that they were found out as to what they were doing. So the Sheriff's Department wanted to take a different approach. They wanted to try to, rather than spy and try to get information, partner with the Muslim community. And with this outreach program, what we do, we go out. I come to you in full uniform as I am now. I don't hide out. I don't try to get information. I simply just build a relationship, and that's what we do. And we build this relationship to understand one another, to educate. The community has a lot to learn on government and law enforcement has a lot to learn on the Muslim community. And this is the struggles that we face, and it's very difficult. Often things that we do, we correct misunderstandings from both sides. We talk to the Muslim community and help them understand the government entities and why they do what they do. Why do they have the questions that they have? Why do they look at certain individuals the way they do? And on the other side of the spectrum, I teach every law enforcement academy class that goes through about Islam. I talk about the past, things that are going on now, and how we got to it today, the problems we're having with ISIS and the terrorist attacks that are occurring all over the world. We also want to reach out to the youth in the Muslim community. I told you my story about my parents not supporting me wanting to be a police officer or work in government. I've had parents come up to me with their young sons telling me, my son wants to be a police officer. Please talk him out of it. I'm not kidding. It's happened on more than one occasion. And it really, really bothers me and disturbs me. Because here we have a young man who wants to serve with the police department, do good, stop crime, be a good role model in their community. Yet his parents want to prevent him from doing that. I was very polite and said, I will not talk him out of it, but I will support him and help him proceed into it. I said, let him talk to me about it. If you want to talk to me about it as well, I'll be happy to go sit with your family, and I can tell you what a great career this is. We need to make the difference with our future generations. Don't just limit them to being doctors and lawyers. I understand that's every parent's dream, okay? I was being called Dr. Hassan at 5 years old. And let me tell you, I was pursuing dentistry, yes. I was pursuing dentistry. And I hit the brakes in college and said, no, that's not what I want to do. And I went out and joined the sheriff's department. Now, people often ask us, if you're an outreach unit, why are you under Homeland Security? Why aren't you under some other community relations department? Why is it Homeland Security? You're spying. Well, the fact of the matter is, they need us in Homeland Security, again, for that education factor. We used to get phone calls from intelligence officers telling us they stopped the individual who had a Quran in his car. Okay, that is, again, we may laugh about it, but then again, that's how concerned they are. That's how much they don't understand. But just the mere fact that the individual has a Quran in his car, or a group of men are praying out on a football field, okay? This is why we are there. This is why we are part of Homeland Security. We could tell them this is normal behavior. This is normal. Again, educating the community. They ask us, why am I being stopped at the airport? You know, why did my father get deported? Okay? We need to educate the community on the different law enforcement entities out there that deal with these different issues. Many people in the Muslim community thought we deal with everything from the airport to the, across the United States. No, every entity is responsible for their own area and their own specific expertise. Now, the future for our community, with this last attack that was so close to home in San Bernardino, I really don't think the Muslim community thought it would come here at our doorstep. Because many groups and individuals in the Muslim community who are Muslims, part of religious institutions, often make their rounds to the mosques and discourage the Muslim community from speaking with law enforcement. And those who do end up being called sellouts, or they're working for the government. And it's an intimidation factor. And the reason why I bring that up, you as Muslims should think for yourselves. Think for yourselves in your own comfort zone. Don't let anyone make a decision for you. This affects everything. When governments, if you don't want to engage governments, if you're not sitting at the table, how do you know what policies are being implemented? Why can't you be there to make those changes or express your concerns sitting with us at the table? Now, I say this as a Muslim and inside a government position. It's very important that you're actively involved, especially now. After this attack, so many people were in disbelief that it was here so close to home. We started getting more and more calls. I don't work intelligence. I don't investigate crimes regarding the Muslim community. My job is outreach. But I get more intelligence than any intelligence officer out there. Why? Because they trust me, they understand me, and I'm not going to put handcuffs on you for coming and talking to me about something. And you should have that confidence in being able to approach me or any law enforcement officer. Even if you live in another county, if you feel more comfortable talking to me, you could do so, and I will put it through the proper channels. But you have to get involved. You cannot let certain organizations or groups sway you away from talking to your government or having a good relationship. Many of the MSAs in our universities have closed the door in our face now because of this dangerous narrative. We strive so much to work with our youth, the young professionals in college, high school, and it's just basically put to rest with this rhetoric that's going around. So you must be part of American society as a whole. The government, the education, the religious leaders, your city council members. It's very important, because when these actions happen, when these terrorist acts happen, you know, all of us, whenever we see something on the TV, we pray, I hope it's not a Muslim, because we got to start all over again. But with that connection with your government, we could all move together forward and say, this is terrorism, and this is our Muslim community. Another thing I wanted to bring up that's very important is don't shy away so much. It's okay to express your opinions. It's okay to talk, because nobody's going to know. Nobody's going to know what you're thinking. And I tell you, it's so much more productive when people are honest and they say specifically how they feel about something, whether I'm doing something wrong. It's okay to challenge that. But we have a discussion, we have a conversation. I thank you guys here. I thank you for having me here tonight. Thank you for the food, it was delicious. And I met many of you. If I have not met you, I'd love to meet you. I'll be sticking around for a little bit. Okay? And thank you very much. That's it.